Well, it does seem to be working better for now. I don't know what's going on though. Maybe it's just too much at once. Okay, so if I'm paused, it's not so bad, apparently. Sorry that we're kind of playtesting this. Thank you. Kudos also to my partner who helped me play. We had so many more ideas and not a lot of it came together, but what we did manage to do we were happy with, and that's why we decided to submit at the very end, even though we had an unfinished part. It was because we were proudest of what was completed. I mean, I'd still like to finish it all, but I don't know. I don't know. I just don't know. Lot to do. It's really just these two corners that still have to be completed, and then there's a lot of dressing up that has to be done all around. feel like that sign needs to be moved, but I'm going to leave it where it is for now. All these vendors, wandering vendors. I mean, this park's about a year old now. Kinderly, I don't know. It's probably seen its full lifespan. But I was just saying, I wanted to finish it, regardless of the competition. But I think I'm just hitting a wall, and it may be something that I come back to months later. Yeah, it doesn't seem like a year ago to me, but I've been working on it off and on since then. Much like the little tiki bar here. Which I guess is the most recent of additions. And then the fully done up plaza with all the adventure style scenery that we got. I did have an idea that I wanted to try out with the flowers. That's not going to work as well as I thought it would. Do that. No. So what has everybody else been working on? Everybody has their own studio park, no doubt. Is it a Disneyland park or is it just Disneyland style? That's a cool idea. That's kind of what my probably last roller coaster tycoon project was, the mini Main Street that really just started with one building that I was trying to make in the game in 2 scale, the smallest building that I could make, and it kind of came from that. I just started making really tiny facades, and then I made a tiny castle, which everybody complained, "Oh, it needs to be bigger. It needs to be bigger," but it was really 2 scale bigger than the Disneyland castle. Ah, now why did it autosave? Have you posted pictures of it in the Discord? Have I seen it? I probably have seen it then. Um, well, the one that I made was just 3 facades on one side of the street and 3 facades on the other side of the street. So, um, I mean, you go as deep into it as you want, and I think that's kind of what I was trying to show with the Roller Coaster Tycoon Park, was that, like, I did not have to, if I wanted, everybody was at that time building Disney parks, and I wanted to be like, I can do a Disney park however I want. And the idea was like this boutique style park that would be like half the size, completely condensed, and not um, not really conform to anything other than the structure. I yeah I think that that's the future of the industry. Um, I think I was even watching, I think it was Defunct Land's podcast the other day, and he was talking about where he thought the future of the industry was, and it's parallel with what I think. I think that, you know, Discovery Cove was ahead of its time. But these smaller boutique experiences are going to be very popular in the future. Because I mean, even today, currently, I think what we're seeing in the industry is kind of a rejection of the communal format of a theme park. Is that people don't really go to embrace what a park is, and that's why we've seen things like Fast Pass is almost ubiquitous in the industry, having that kind of system where people, you know, are wanting to find a cheat code, I guess, in a sense. So the the concept of, you know, doing one experience or 5 experiences and doing it well is more appealing, I think, in the bigger scale. And that's what Celebrity is kind of a boutique park as well. It's maybe slightly larger than what the mini Main Street was going to be, but I mean, you can even see here. I'm using half the map, and that right there is the back border of this is there's the fence. So this is the back of the park, and you can see where I've kind of designated the hub to be. So it's not going to be very much larger than what it is right now, which is good for me because that means I have, you know, about a sixth of the park done already. And it kind of confines me. I wish I had something to talk about or something to do, but I could start building, but I feel like that'd be boring than me just doing the camera waltz, spinning around and turning. I'll point out anything that you want to look at. Okay, walkthrough. So a lot of things about this have kind of been, I kind of haven't mentioned. A lot of things about this project I haven't mentioned, but the concept was harkening back to an old concept that I did in Roller Coaster Tycoon 3 with, oh god, what was his name? Matthew was his real name. I know people by their real names, that's why I've got to be careful about about saying people's names, because I don't know who wants their like personal name to be known above their screen name. So the idea was to take an in-game map and split it down the middle and build one gate on one side and one gate on the other side, kind of in a DLR Disneyland Resort fashion. So that's why this black line here in the middle will be ripped up at some point, but this is the dividing line between the halves of the park, or the halves of the map. So you wouldn't see necessarily a bag check here, it'd probably be further away, and you won't see ticket gates. Those will be further away too, because the ticket gates and the bag check would serve both parks and not just each individual park. So coming through the gates, because I felt like I had to have gates if it was going to be a studio, you're here in kind of the courtyard, which I wanted to feel like a grander concept of what a studio is. It was supposed to give you like this dreamlike effect of what a studio or working studio would look like. And the idea is that unlike Universal Studios or MGM when it opened, this is not trying to be a working studio. Nothing here is trying to be production ready, but it wants to give the appearance or the feel or the sensation, I guess. And another thing that I wanted to try out was having multiple entrances. So you've got kind of this first archway over here, which is really more secluded, kind of pulls you off away from the rest of the park, and it's got the entrance to guest services over here. Then the next entrance over is what I've been calling the marquee entrance, and that's the main entrance, which is the lowest, most uninteresting interest when you take away the sign. But putting the sign there really makes it draw people in, and also drawing all the paving lines to that entrance pulls you in that way instead of towards the bigger entrance, which is what probably seems more iconic in the grand scheme. And then over here, this would be mostly for exiting the park during daily operation, but I still wanted to pull in that Balboa Park San Diego inspiration. So it has this ironwork above it, pretty intricate for just fences and poles. But yeah, I haven't got any turnstiles in yet, but they're coming. And then to balance out the tall tower and large guest services building on one side, I figured the first soundstage would go opposite. So that's how that kind of came together. You can see over here the guest services building has just windows, and each one has got a information booth inside, selling all them fast passes. Why do we not have a place that sells park maps in the game? That's my first question. There would be tons more of that throughout the course of this. So coming through, I wanted either arch to frame the park as you come through, so you get a great view of Hollywood and Vine as you come through the marquee arch, and then from over here you can get the same concept, and then even through the main arch you get a better view down the main street. And yeah, I do have a height balloon down there at the very end. That's for the theater, which is going to cap the end of Main Street. It's going to be a la Carthy Theater, but it's not going to be quite the Carthay. I guess the next thing that I built was a one of the things that I love about Hollywood Studios is, and even Mast built the actual building, it's a souvenir shop, but it's a different kind of souvenir shop. It doesn't have park souvenirs, it has memorabilia. So it has autographed picture frames and t-shirts and stuff like that, and frames of Hollywood alumni and elite. But I didn't really want to build it in that style, so I thought, let's build a prop barn, and then I'll be able to use all those oversized props. So it pulls from a lot of different concepts and different parks
for like, you know, what a prop house looks like. Haven't you seen these peeps? There's they never get lost unless there's little. Yeah, they all have GPS or something. I don't know what's up with that. But yeah, so here's inside the prop barn, which, I mean, it's all believable to me. Seem like I love putting in. I framed out a piece of the paneling in the game, and it kind of makes it look like the backside of a false wall. But it's actually the wall that cuts through for the soundstage. And I'm still upset that we don't have proper shirts, but using 2 of the new signs gave me at least a impression of t-shirts. And then all the fake cups that I've tried to use. We've got lovely little mugs, thermoses, tiki cups. I don't know. It kind of falls apart as you go down. That's why they're at the bottom. And then more thermoses or tumblers over here, because that's kind of as good as I can do as far as small knickknacks. And then also a staff door there. And I put so much stuff back here underneath the underneath the scaffolding, but you can't see any of it. Having rafters, and this place looks amazing at night because I spotlit everything. There's a little drat up there. Stealing all of it. You're welcome to it. So inside the park, there's also 2 windows for guest services, if you need. And then this door here, which is actually stolen straight from the Paramount lot. A lot of this influence comes from the Paramount lot because it was probably the like biggest or highest designed studio lot that I could find. You've got a door here, a couple of steps up, and it's probably going to be loud because there's a staff room on the other side. Oh no, I broke it. Why am I moving so fast? Come back.
Hey.
We're all going to be named Tejid by the end of this. So then, like, now I'm stuck on top of something. So after that, I wanted to build a restaurant. I knew I wanted to take up as much space over here on this side of the street as possible because I did not want to fill it all out with facades that are facing the entrance of the park. And I wanted something that kind of pushes people along. It's kind of like, okay, you've seen it, move on. Because and this is something that parks use in their design as well. Is the immediate moment after you enter the park is pretty dull and uninteresting, like town square at Disney at the Magic Kingdoms. Right when this is something Mass noticed too. Right when you walk inside Disney Hollywood Studios, there's virtually nothing there until you hit Main Street, and that's to move people out of the way, to like drag people into the park. Because the further into the park they are, the better the turnstile operations works. It's not a true PC park unless the entire staff is Nick Edgerton. Exactly. I try to keep the same guy, but I can never find him. He keeps walking away on me. So taking up that space was going to be a sit-down restaurant. Probably reservations required, and then I wanted to do something that was reminiscent of a vineyard, something that brought in the Napa Valley, because the real concept of celebrity, and that's why it's called celebrity, is not Hollywood or production or studio. It's, what is the celebrity experience, and when you walk through the gate, you expect to experience that. You expect to be a celebrity in the park. So there's going to be a lot of things that don't necessarily tie back to studios or movies or any of the other different genres that I'm doing, but are there because they are, you know, the fantasized idea of what being a celebrity is like, and Vineyards is, you know, probably right up there. So they even got wine tastings. I put little tables here with my wine bottles. You guys are going to steal those, I know for sure. There's a basket of wine bottles there. They used to be in the bathroom, and I moved them over here, if you remember that. Some more wine bottles over here in the entrance, and the sign, that took so long, but where it ended up, I love. And then putting these hanging flowers upside down, or actually the right side up, but putting them here to make them look kind of like pseudo grapes. It only works at a distance. It falls apart when you get so close. I built a custom grape press using the dynamite, igniter. What is that called? And then this gold HV up here, which just looks like an M, but I tried to make it look as much like an H and a V as possible. And then picnic tables and canvas umbrellas, because that seemed to carry the concept. And putting all the Disney parks do this with billboards, so I wanted to put billboards up there to kind of fill out the vertical space, and I knew I was going to be putting most of the area lighting on the roof, so it does a good job at hiding a lot of the area lighting being used. So now a set of restrooms over here, repurposing my water fountains. Oh my goodness, I put bungs on all of these barrels to make them look more like wine barrels. But it totally works, but it was a little tedious. Women's restroom over here. Had to completely matte a photo because I put the photo in there just normally and it didn't look right, so I matted it and didn't realize that I had matted it to the exact same color as the wall. That was not intentional, because the walls were originally green, but the bathrooms just don't work with a green wall. A Reese's cup up there as a platter. I've used that before. A couple of crates there. Janitorial closet to fill out that narrow space that's back there. It's all you really need for a floor sink and broom closet. Here's a little quart fountain here. Really, it's just here to take up the space, and kind of it repeats the style from the tree grates. And then I had to color, it looked so weird, so I colored the inside to look wet. There's your pro tip. And then the men's restroom has a more utilitarian look, and I think I got accused of kind of a bit of a gender presumption in that way, but I didn't. It was unintentional. I'd be happy to move the shovels to the women's restroom if that's what everybody wants. So yeah, probably my favorite texture from the new DLC is the tiled walls and columns, and I've used them almost throughout this park because I just really like the reflective surface. And I've been, cheating tile since the beginning with whatever I could find, because I just really enjoy that aesthetic. So I've even used those windows that I've used in the past to cheat tile on the inside of the entryway here. And I mean, this building is mostly inspired. I tried to not completely rip off anything, but this building is obviously inspired by the Mickey's. What is it? Mickey's of Hollywood. Right as you walk into DHS, Disney's Hollywood Studios. But I tried to make it a little more interesting and a little more golden age Hollywood. So you've got copper colors and then pink and black, which just kind of came off the way that I was wanting it to look. And finding all these different ways to do Schweigeresque carvings on the walls has been interesting. Most of it's come from the adventure set. And just like different, I'll use anything. I'll use wood, I'll use metal, I'll use stone, whatever pulls off the aesthetic. Using these Munsters lanterns turned to the side gives them just that 45-degree angle gives them a more Art Deco look, or an Art Deco profile. And then like the most fun thing that has been is doing these window dressings. So inside here, and they animate. So if I hit pause, they've got so this candy store is called Red Carpets Candy. So each window has a forced perspective red carpet with candy walking down the red carpet and silhouettes of people taking their photos. It's so cheesy, but I get a giggle out of it. I'm gonna have to pause this so that the stream works again. See if the frames come back. There, it's coming back. And so there's a bit of an Easter egg here. In the window here we have fudge. So there we do sell fudge. First store at a build in the park sells fudge. And I put coal in this one to give it a chocolate chip cookie strip down the middle. And I think most people have noticed that probably one of the most requested and missing items that we have from the studio's pack was a velvet rope. So I've got 2 velvet rope stanchions with no rope, but that's okay. I've got pulled candy confections in this window, chocolate confections in this window. I just stuck that plant up there. I don't think I like it. It throws off the scale. So it's not even in a pot. It's just like sitting up there. I was just trying to get some greenery up there. Oh yeah, subtle Easter eggs are my thing. And then the second facade is a little more Art Deco, but still tries to pull off the old Hollywood black and white cinematography concept. And you've got in this window now, instead of a red carpet, there's a curtain in the background. So you've reached the end of the red carpet, and there's a trophy there. It's kind of an award. Got different chocolate and jelly candies, and then over here some bonbons. And the candy sign, which, oh god, the back side of this looks like that. So it's the very tip of the arrow just moved, migrated 100,000 times. It's actually not that many pieces. I think it just looks like a lot. I think it's only like 30 pieces or something like that to get the candy logo.
And I love putting the blinds in these windows because it gives it such a Hollywood feel. And it's so simple, but it looks, I don't know, having them be blinds instead of just flat windows just gives it takes you straight to 1940s. And then the most recent facade that I did, well, I did one facade and then I removed it, and sorry, I just got a Discord notification. Hopefully you didn't hear that. I don't even know how much is coming through. I don't even know how loud I am. Is the sound good? It's actually just a billboard image. So I just used the billboard windows, and I have an image of blinds that I just pulled from the internet. But yeah, so this facade kind of goes, it's interesting. It's pulling you back to the entrance theme a little bit with the similar colors, similar Schwieger-esque. It's just this time it's in a really high contrast brown with a hint of purple. But it has, we're hopping around California, so we've went, north to San Francisco, north to Napa Valley, and now we're back south in San Diego here. And then here I put, movie-related memorabilia and candy, and 2 M&Ms and some movie-style candy boxes and popcorn. And this tiled base is like just those windows stacked on top of each other. And then the best recolorable post that we have intersected for the diagonal tiles, which, it all falls apart really close. You can tell it's wood, it's stone instead of tile, but at a distance you'll never know. And then today I kind of worked on doing 2 carts in a studio style, so it's literally called studio style. And not really sure about the surface, but I didn't want to use the colored, because the black section is the new color panels from the update. And then, it's obvious to tell what these are here, and it's giving you a Z bias there. But so you can see the colored panels, and I'm stuck moving in one direction again. You can see the colored panels are much thinner than the piece I used here, the caution piece. So if I wanted something thicker, so I decided on the caution piece. And I figured most of that Z bias fighting, or the Z fighting, will be covered up by whatever I put in the store. And then another famous drink stand, it's really simple, just using one of the pieces that came with the game and putting ice on top, snow on top of it, and little baubles inside to represent the tops of drinks. And used a color picker to pick out the colors of different Coke products, so you can kind of sense what each thing is, because those colors are very highly reminiscent of the drinks that they are supposed to represent. So that's virtually the whole park as of right now. I don't think I missed anything. The soundstage is pretty dull. It has got the windows with the blinds again on this side of it to kind of
give it, you know, that functional look from the outside, and it kind of gives it the balance against the windows on this side. They're spaced similarly apart and are at similar heights. And then you've got this, you know, staired entrance up to a more production office area there. And then everybody wants to talk about the fake sky, which doesn't look nearly as good up close, but from a distance it's, and in the right light. I think I've changed the lighting since I put it in, but it looks quite believable. You've got, you know, fire suppression system here, and a catwalk. I'm putting the generators, I love these generators. I'm going to use them all over the place, putting the generators up there. Also love using this crypt roof as a, or this haunted house roof, because it's just, I mean, once you've installed a roof, it doesn't look anything like the day you installed it. It takes one day and it's sun bleached and grody, and it's got, it gets rained on and washed out, and roof never looks the way that it does the day you installed it. So where to go from here? I'm trying to hold off on putting the theater in, because I think that's going to be, I don't know, it's going to be a big reveal. So you can see it's called Regency Circle. Maybe you can figure out what theater I'm going to use there. And it's going to take up a lot of space. And so the height balloon is actually the height of the Carthay, kind of brought into Planet Coaster. So if I make it that tall, which sounds ridiculous because that seems so much shorter than the Carthay Theater at DCA, but that is exactly how tall the Carthay Theater is. And I actually think I flubbed up, so it's slightly taller than the Carthay Theater, if anything. And that is tiny. That is tiny, tiny, tiny. If I move this over here next to the entrance, so far this is the tallest point in the park, and it just barely exceeds that. So it'll be right down there. In front we'll have, you know, exactly what you would expect from something ripping off California Adventure. We were talking about what to put inside this acute corner. It's probably going to be a cafe or something. I may have some false facades, unlike these, which are actual facades. So I may have some facades that have framing on the backside of them that you can have like an open air cafe area inside, a lot like what America Street at Hollywood Studios had. And then you've got, you can see back at this direction we're going to have a New York themed street. It's going to be called Broadway, and it's going to have, you know, New York style musical theater in this corner going out this way, and then the biggest section in this back corner here is just going to be backstage. So there'll be a gate right here coming off of the hub, and it's going to be all backstage in that corner there. And then down this way we'll probably have our roller coaster, because there's probably only going to be one in the park, so be prepared for that. It'll probably be right back here in this corner at the end of New York Street. And it'll probably be Jimmy Fallon something. I'm just kidding. Going this direction, I wanted to do an international street, so it'll be your generic, you know, Parisian, French, German, like just the average of all of Europe street, and it's not going to be very long. It'll probably be about that long right there. And then that's going to lead into
the TV themed area, so there'll be more of a like small screen production style area over here, including more sound stages in a different style than this one, and more attractions kind of themed to that. And then back in this corner back here is going to be the music style themed area. So you'll have movies, musicals, TV, and recording music in the back corner over there. And that'll kind of fill out. So it'll be basically, I described it to someone as this is my EGOT park. So Emmys, Grammys, Tonys, Oscars. Or I guess Oscars comes before Tonys if you're saying EGOT. But yeah, so this is going to be themed to those different industries. It feels like something's going on with the terrain here. And here's I've saved it, so it's still here, but I did not like it after building it. Anything I missed, I guess? I don't know. Ugh. This isn't the high production quality that you get from Mass Bandit or or somebody else. And I'm much better at talking to people. So when I do these in the future, I'm probably going to have somebody guesting. Something else that I did that you can't really hear right now is put a bunch of different audio tracks on a loop that plays when it's not paused. So yeah, I tried to find music that completely evoked that theme. And I won't do that too much because apparently it kills the stream. So anybody have anything to add, anything to say, any suggestions about direction? So I probably want to repeat these sound stages going across this direction here, which makes this side interesting because I'm just going to have like this same shape repeated, bump, 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 maybe 3 times. So I did kind of want to add some kind of structure off the front of it, so that's why I gave myself a little bit of space, probably not enough. I'm not really sure what I want to put in front of them. Maybe more false facades. inside the sound stages, yes and no. So this first sound stage I've kind of already relegated to be an event center. The idea being that it probably would be used during like a food and wine festival and like a Halloween event, something like that, but basically be for storage the rest of the year. And right now I'm actually using it for storage anyways. I put the things that I'm copy pasting inside there. The next few probably will have something inside them. I know I want to do one as an actual like show, like stage show. So one will have like stadium seating and a screen inside, and then the last one, I don't know, it might be used for a station for that roller coaster that I was mentioning, or something else. I'm not sure. Have not thought that far through, unfortunately. Oh, so I could turn it to night and show you the lighting work that I've done. Let's see. It's a completely different aesthetic. So these lighting rigs that I built, I was reading some of the content that somebody had put on, I can't even remember who, you'll know who it was, but they were trying to elevate the lighting that we use in the game by including an article about stage lighting, which I didn't fully read. I should have, but I didn't. And so the concept was, you know, cool lighting from one side and warm lighting from the other side to make an object or subject stand out from its surroundings in a theater, in a stage setting. And, you know, cooler lights will bring something further to the foreground, and warmer lights will push it further into the background. And I'm probably getting this all wrong, but that was my takeaway. So what I thought, well, if I'm lighting things from one side as warm lights and the other side as cold lights, if I just build one rig that's got warm on one side and cold on the other side, and they're all facing the same direction, then every object in between, in front of, and underneath them will all be lit almost properly. So that's what I did there. So the idea is that everything is cool lit from the right and warm lit from the left. So I built these rigs to have cool lights on the left and warm lights on the right, and then just peppering them around the park does this. So you've got blue light coming in from this side, red light coming in from that, or amber light coming in from that side. And it's a cheat. It's not correctly done. I know that, but it works to the degree that I wanted it to work, and it gives the character that I wanted. So you've got, you see where things are lit. And I mean, without them, it all falls apart. So what it is doing is exactly what I wanted it to do. And I don't think these up here do anything at all, but for the sake of consistency, I put them up there. I don't think that the lamps actually project all the way to the ground, or past the building, or past that line on the roof.
And then down Main Street, I put amber lights in front of the trees and blue lights behind them. So you kind of get the same effect on those trees. Now the palms here off the plaza still have white lights, and I don't know if I want to change them because what it's doing looks good too, but maybe I will. Maybe I'll try it and see what I think. So probably this is way too many lights around this fence area here, but I wanted the entrance to be probably more well lit than the rest of the park, so that's where that's coming from. And all these up lights, and these are really harsh, but it's putting all that Schriegger-esque work on the facade in like a contrast, which is what I wanted. Makes it look high relief more than it already is. And then I put actual green and blue lights onto the dome because that was its predominant color. Anything else that I did was lighting. Tried to vary the lamppost style, so up here in the Hollywood and Vine area, you've got these more wooden, rustic style lanterns. And then down the main street you have more of a gas lamp style, which changes the tone of the light. And same for the buildings, for the facades themselves. And then each one of the, you can see each one of the windows are individually lit with blue and amber lighting, so you can really see how it's reflecting off of that clapboard up there. Can't really see them there, but they're facing down from above. And getting this blue neon color correct was really hard because it's not the blue that you think that it is. It's way more purple, but it pulls off the blue neon. Anything else anybody wants to see? Small projects, not really. But we can take a look at this. This was my own personal hell for a very long time. I'm amazed too, and I'm still not complete, which is looks like a trippy beehive. And then you've got the Gateway Gifts store, and then the camera store on the other side, which we now have glass for, so I guess I could replace these these windows from the kit car. As complicated as the sphere was, at least I knew how to make it. This wall here was and is absolutely terrible. It's not the right shape, but I don't think that I can achieve the right shape correctly in the game. Not using the reflective pieces that I'm trying to use, at least. And I just got tired, so I lopped it off. I didn't finish it. But yeah, it was a lot of work, but it looks very good, so... I'm pleased with it, but I don't think I want to do any more of it. Okay, we've hit pause. These mirrors were quite complicated too. They work better when the LODs do their thing. And it looks like it's really mirrored, but it's not mirrored, it's just transparent. So you're not seeing things in front of it, you're seeing things behind it, but because of the shape and the shading that it's doing on it, it makes it look like you may be looking at a reflection. I was seeing if I park here if the stream quality gets better when it's not trying to do all those refractions. Yeah, there's that.
I mean, I think Quest would be the only other interesting thing that I have here. And this one I will have to pause, I know that. Let's do a tour of this guy. Now I'm on top of something. Yep. There we go. Plans to port RCT3 projects to PC. I don't think I have any RCT3 projects that are good enough to revisit. If you're thinking of one in particular, please, by all means. I mean, Shiloh would be hard to do because we don't have water park stuff, and even though towards the end of Shiloh it was mostly just an amusement park, it was still at its core traditionally a water park. The mini Main Street would be interesting, I guess, but I mean, I just don't think that the quality of the fantasy stuff and the contemporary stuff that we have is good enough to do a Main Street, a Fantasyland, and a Tomorrowland. Tradewinds, I have considered doing Tradewinds, but that is a huge park, and the scale is just ridiculous. And I did consider doing Tradewinds after they released the hotel elevator style ride, because the Hasta La Luna that's in the Discovery part of Tradewinds was always imagined as a Tower of Terror clone, a Tower of Terror clone in reverse. So you would start by being shot up an elevator shaft and end coming down. But I just don't know. It probably goes back to the idea that I don't think the fantasy theme is really fledged out in the game. I think once we get a full fantasy DLC, yeah, it'll change the game. If it wasn't good enough, make it good. Yeah, but I like to start with a solid idea too. I don't want to try to coerce a project. It's got to like breathe and live, or else it's not. I'm not interested. More so for me than for like trying to keep other people's interest. If I can't keep my own interest, then it's not going to go very far. So here's Quest, which was another boutique park. And now I'm on top of something that I can't get off of. Oh, I did. Oh. Kind of a... If Celebrity is Universal Studios, this is Islands of Adventure. Yeah, fuck Photo Bucket. I hate that I ever used it, which is embarrassing.
It used to be different. It's not. It's not what it. It's not now what it used to be. So. So touring this, I don't even know where to begin. Gosh, the first thing I built here was this facade, which is actually also the facade. I designed this facade on paper years ago to be part of a completely different park called something else. I can't even think of what it's called. Kinderly only has 3 good ideas that he keeps rehashing. Well, don't we all? Isn't that? I mean, I'm not here to call out anybody, but I think most people are known for 3 projects that they just keep redoing because, you know, that's where their skills lie. That's where they feel most comfortable and most effective. But yeah, so it started with that facade, and I mean, for me looking at this park, I feel like this facade doesn't really match with the rest of the park anymore, because I guess maybe it's because the one that I've lived with the longest. But I've been told that it does still fit in. Maybe it's lacking a little detail, but it is the first one. And then from that, I kind of went this direction. So the second one was this market rentals, because I knew, I mean, there's certain tropes that a theme park has right inside the entrance area, and one of them is, you know, a breakfast area, because breakfast is, you know, they put that right inside the entrance so that, you know, that you can get that on your way into a park in the mornings. And I guess in their mind, it gets you to the park earlier, so you don't go out for breakfast, you dine in the park. And then also lockers and wheelchair rentals. So I put a rental space over here for chairs, strollers, and lockers. And there's some of the lockers. We've all made these lockers, I think. And yeah, if I didn't see it from the outside, I didn't build it, so there's gaps on the back side of these. But you know, you can see there's a security guard, so you can see trying to stay within the scale. This right here is, this sign is actually 2 speed limit signs flipped up. One of them's flipped upside down and sunk into the wall, so that's actually a W and not an M. But it works, so I'm okay with that. As long as it works, that's all I care about. The restrooms here are my favorite part of the entrance. So I wanted to reach deep and pull out the Islands of Adventure theme. So this is like the carved rock face as a bench inside there here at the restrooms, because there's always benches by the restrooms. There's a bench actually inside here too, inside these rocks. And then you've got, you know, your janitor closet, men's and women's. Security camera. Thanks to Lone Wolf. He's always harping on me to put security cameras in more places, and having worked in theme parks, I mean, maybe I shouldn't say this, but there's not as nearly as many security cameras as you may think there are. Definitely not as many as Hollywood would want you to believe, because there's no theme park that I've ever worked at, including Disney, including smaller parks, has ever had a control room with people sitting at computers and looking at cameras. I'm sure that Disney would think that was a waste of money. So another concept from parks is the idea of a curtain. Busch Gardens really likes to do this. So there's, if you're outside the park here, there's a curtain here. So this is, none of this is, it's all open air, but there's just enough of a structure here to block your, to block that side from this side. So it makes a there and a here visually. So that, you know, it's visually separating the space from inside the park and outside the park. And once you're inside the park, the next curtain is over here, which is this rockwork bridge. And I'm sure you've noticed that California Adventure does this with the monorail bridge and the train bridge. After you enter the park, for, you know, Disneyland and the Magic Kingdoms, there's a train station that goes over the entrance area that separates here and there, and then Islands of Adventure has a bridge that goes across, separates here and there. You'll notice them, but they're called curtains. The idea is to separate here and there to give kind of a presentation to an area when you walk through it. So when you walk through our curtain on this side, you get what's going to be the main street. And I have made this main street way too large. I'm never going to fill this up, but it comes all the way down to here. And I don't know what I've done to myself, but this is immense. It was inspired obviously by Islands of Adventure, but there's no way I'm going to be able to fill all that out. And on this side, you've got the Copper Spoon, which is another restaurant. Restaurants in parks tend to share kitchens, so you'll see them back to back a lot of times. So you have the breakfast restaurant over there, and then this is more of a fine dining restaurant over here. And then, so I built all of that before ever visiting. Hello, beautiful. How are you? So I built everything else in this park up till this tower here before ever visiting Disneyland in California. So last year I took my first trip to Disneyland. So everything past that, this section here is very highly inspired by Disneyland and New Orleans Square. So I wanted to have that kind of feeling of a secluded area off the main street, off the main midway. And that's where this comes in. So you've got this area you walk into here, and it really gives that secluded, quiet area feel. With stairs and a ramp that leads all the way up to, basically this is the queue line for the first attraction, which is going to be a 4D theater. And you can see the theater doors up there on the second floor. And there's a lot of this isn't done, so I've not finished the back side of the bridge here, and I've not finished this pink building here. I've not even started that pink building. It's really just there to separate. Back here you have more fountains and restrooms, men's, women's, and a janitor closet. And so the exit for the theater would be through a gift shop that's behind these doors here. And also inside, comes out of here as well. And this is, I probably went overboard with this facade, but so while I was in California, I was really loving the buildings and the architecture that I was seeing. Oh, you're still alive. Hi from France. Yeah. Well, hi from America. It's got to be pretty late over there in France, right? It's got to be like, what, 11, 12 o'clock? 11 o'clock maybe? But yeah, so this building heavily inspired by just the architecture that I was seeing in California and Southern California while I was there. This is my first time trying to build walls out of windows and doors. So I really liked the shape of the corner of these doors. So when the wall does that weird thing there, that's just a door. And then sunken windows that are octagonal with metal grates, metal bars over them. That's something that I noticed. And then this texture here, which I'm guessing now is Schuriegeresque, now that I know what Schuriegeresque is. But I didn't know when I built it, so I just put, texture. That's all I wanted was texture. Almost 11:30. Another built-in bench. I love doing built-in benches because that's more accurate to the industry standard. Oh, and I've got a wheelchair ramp here too. So it's actually got path under it, so peeps will use it if I ever open my park to peeps, which I probably never will, because my computer would catch fire. And I built this little pergola. This was originally going to be on top of the market rentals building here, right there where the where this little jetty is. But it just did not look right. it was throwing off the scale of the building and was making it look, and I was closing in the sky. So I moved it off. I liked it though, so I wanted to keep it. So I've got it sitting over there. And you've got a bell tower there that you can't see from nearly anywhere in the park, but it's there because I wanted to feel like there was a purpose for the bridge. Otherwise the bridge didn't make any sense. Not that I had to, but I wanted it to. You can see from the sky. So the backstage areas are not really organized well right now. They're just intersecting buildings at this point. Back here it's a little more worked out, a little more fleshed out. But yeah, so there'll be a kitchen back here in this corner for these two restaurants to share. And then you can see that's the stage area of what the 4D theater will be. And then I don't know what I'm going to do on this side over here. There's so much to do. I've got maybe a quarter done. And running out of styles because this was supposed to have kind of a no place and no time theme. So while everything was supposed to feel together and appropriate to its surroundings, it wasn't supposed to invoke any place, country, any one place, country, or time period. And that's why you've got like more African Moroccan influences over here, more English influences over here. Coming through, you've got more of a industrial, maybe American West theme, Southwest theme, by pulling them all together at the same time. Again, ideally. And I put a little exit store, which is from, that idea comes from Hard Rock Park. It's short-lived in South Carolina. I never visited, but I was invited to work at the year that it opened, and I got that opportunity the same time I got the opportunity to go to Disney, and I chose Disney instead of Hard Rock Park. And well, we see which one lasted. I love this sign. It's a cheat. If you get real close, you can see that it's actually made up of different signs put on top of the banner sign, the bathroom. I think it's a bathroom banner sign from the pirate theme. A food banner, but at a distance you can almost barely tell. Also, when the light's shining bright on it, it kind of washes out the details, so you really can't tell. And all this little merchandise. Beach bags and sweatpants and trinkets and gems and jewelry. These are supposed to be lanyards, like pin lanyards. At a distance, it kind of looks right. Ball caps, all faked. Those tumblers again. Pyramids, I don't even know what the pyramids are supposed to be, but they were small, so I used them. The swords, we're just asking for somebody to put an eye out. So I guess that's that. I mean, there's only one other project that I've ever had in the game, and that's the recreation, and I'm happy to show you if you want to see it. I'm just like glancing over at the stream, and because it's behind, it's like, I'm sorry that I moved the camera so much. This is literally like, I don't know, if I don't see everything from 7 sides, then I've not seen it. I don't know why. If it's making you sick, I'll try to do better at not moving the camera so much. Busch Gardens, Europe, or Williamsburg. Are you guys picking a lot of background sound up? Because I know I've got a squeaky chair, and I'm also dealing with allergy season, so I'm trying to drink a lot of water to keep myself from like sounding nasally or my throat getting scratchy. I'll have to pause this too, I guess. The keyboard. Okay. I can try to fix that. Are you getting a lot of me, or am I quiet, or... Let's see. It's probably going to be that noisy while I touch the mic, so apologize for that. Is that any better? Typing on the keyboard now. That'll make me sick. Oh, I do get quiet on occasion. I think I also am leaning back in the chair, and that's not helping either. Well, I'd rather be quiet than loud, so I guess that's a good thing. Okay, so this is Beschreibungswilliamsburg, which is my favorite park in the world, and it holds a personal significance to me because it was the first theme park that I went to, and the one that made me decide that this is what I wanted to consume the rest of my life with, in one form of another or another. Disregard the lamppost in the foreground, but yeah. Also wearing a headset to monitor the sound, and it's like starting to affect my ears. It's starting because it's pinning my ears against my glasses, and it's starting to get painful. But onward. Yes, so stole the will call booths from the Bro Coaster Park, No Name Landia, which wasn't called No Name Landia when I worked in it. That actually asked me to come up with a name, and I did, and they promptly said, no, we'll figure out our own name. This is definitely a different park than your other projects. Yeah, well, I mean, because this to me, in my mind, is a still life. So it's meticulous in building. I've been meticulous in building what I see and not what I think. And that's why it looks completely different, I think. Oh, found him. Mr. Tedget himself. Okay, so, I mean, you can even see I put in the SeaWorld parks or the Busch parks all have the same very unique turnstile system, and I tried to replicate using the icing. But yeah, so there's turnstiles in here. These are supposed to be lion heads, but I've used gargoyles instead, and they kind of work. And then all of this framework, this timber framing is just and so during the building of this park, we actually got the spooky update, or the spooky DLC. So you'll see the wood beams that I used change at some point from the ones like this that came in the base game to the spooky ones, because the spooky ones were more the correct thickness. How did I make the gas lamp? Okay, so yeah, so I love this gas lamp. Let's move it over here. Let's put it in the sun somewhere. So it's an inverted oil lamp for the lantern itself, and then using an art piece, the half sphere, intersected by that's the bauble, the lantern bauble, and then this is a shovel. You can see it if I click. You can see the shovel sunk just below the ground. It couldn't be taller if I wanted it to be. And then using brackets for the sides to hold up the rest. It's a good fake, but it's not perfect. I would prefer to have an actual gas lantern in the game, but in its absence, this is what I've got. And then you've got, you know, a bauble down there at the bottom just to make it look grounded, and it's on top of a piece of a piece of wooden pillar. And that's actually the style of lamps that they have out there, so I'll put him back. Coloring the flowers green so that we have a viable ivy option. Here's another complaint for the Planet Coaster devs, but the LODs on these pieces are absolutely terrible. So at any distance they turn white, no matter what color you pick. Yeah, so with enough distance they go to white, which is upsetting but not terrible. Using them as hanging vines or hanging plants here too. You just need between 3 and 5 to make a sphere. You can make a smaller sphere with 3 of them, a larger sphere with 5 of them, and that also gives you the added benefit of being able to color them different colors, so you've got different plants in the same basket. And I used an eyedropper to take these flower colors straight from the picture, some pictures of the flowers that are there in the real life. So then there's a curtain that Busch Gardens uses. You can see there. I don't even know what's up there. I don't know if there's anything up there. I've never, as much as I know about this park, I don't know a lot about the employee areas because I've never worked at it. But I forgot we even had a snow shovel. Yeah, it really doesn't serve much purpose unless you're building a lantern or something with it. But yeah, so that is a curtain there, and then once you walk in, you're in England, or Banbury Cross as they call it. It's gone way more to a London side over the years, which, you know, kind of destroyed my soul building in the recent additions like these red telephone booths and the post box over here and all the Union Jacks. When Banbury Cross was built, it was supposed to represent England before the coalition of the UK. So it's kind of upsetting that they covered it from head to toe in Union Jacks. But they're going to do what they're going to do, and I can't do nothing but complain. Putting the pieces in the window to make it look like colored stained glass. That's probably one of the more intricate things that I've done. There's a piece of icing in a door to make it look like different mullions than what we have in the game. Intersecting windows together is something I do all the time. The phone booths themselves are just made of doors. Intersected. Every one of these bays is custom, built by Windows and Art Shapes. Lost and Found used to be in this corner. I think I was looking earlier and it's not actually in that corner anymore. And also, all of this is old because the imagery that I had for this section over here was before it's been changed now to something else. But it used to be a photo area where you could pick up photos that had been taken of you throughout the park, and like ride photos and stuff like that. But they've moved that since over here, which used to be a guest services building, and so I had to build out the adventure photo area over here. And I've got a two-tone sign just by taking 2 signs and intersecting them at an angle. But yeah, so this is in the history of the park, I think this is relatively new. Putting some banners up there to make it look like a canvas door here has been tied back. You can see the globe. Oh my goodness, this was so much work. It's still not done. This other side's completely unadorned. If you see over here. So the globe actually was the biggest help because it sits right in the middle of England, and I know that this door in real life is the same height as this door here. So I use that to figure out what the ground or what the land is doing from there to there. So it actually slopes up. You're climbing uphill, which is going to be, if I continue this project, that's going to be the biggest pain in the butt, is figuring out how to do the landscape, the terraforming for Busch Gardens Williamsburg, because it is a hilly, irregular park, to say the least. So here you can see we are about, was that 2 meters below the door here, and it comes around, you're going up. These doors are on the same height, so you're about a meter now, going up, and now it's ground level. What is EP? Europa Park? No, it's not Europa Park. I could see that though. It is the Globe Theater, it's just the Globe Theater at Busch Gardens, not the one at Europa Park. I gotta get it. So this is the Felt and Feather, which is a hat store in the park. I've got to get to putting a Hats Fantastic in here, which is hilarious because it's the only dedicated hat store I've ever seen in a theme park. And then the Emporium here is a little fake penny press made with windows again. Windows are the most versatile thing that we have in the game. Nobody disputes that. This sign was fun. It's just I think it's like 4 or 5 different signs just completely intersected into each other for the effect. And using some icing for some of the gold work that was done. And you can see here again, like these doors are higher than this door here. And there's actually a set of stairs inside the store, if I remember correctly. And then Garden Gate, which is, it used to be a place where you could buy flowers in the park, which, you know, that used to be a really big thing in all theme parks, was having a place to buy flowers. But since then it's been completely decommissioned. So I even went through and put, using the awnings in a vertical way, gives you that drop down canvas covering look, which just like sold perfectly. And this tree, which I think is too tall, and yeah, it's way too tall by comparison to the real life tree. But yeah, using art shapes as terracotta pots, I love doing that. I did that in Zoo as well. There's some there. There's 2 more there. I mean, it is Busch Gardens. They've got flowers everywhere. This was awesome, using the, so they have a sign here that's just like every single thing in the park on a directional arrow, and using the picket fence on its side. It totally did exactly what it looks like in the real world. Oh, and my Queen Elizabeth up there, which surprisingly looks a lot like her, even though it's just art shapes and circles and ovals. And this building, this is Union Snacks, which is brand new. It's actually been built since the last time that I've been to the park. And they've got all the pictures that I found of it were attached to an article that they were celebrating this as the first Coca-Cola freestyle machine in Williamsburg or something like that. And that's what they were selling this as, that this whole building here just holds Coca-Cola freestyle machines, which again makes my soul die a little bit on the inside. But yeah, no, I do not have Coca-Cola machines inside though. It looks like the inside of every Roller Coaster Tycoon and Planet Coaster building. They do have a rig behind it for this lighting structure that projects onto the globe, and then they've also got some lights there as well that are hung off of the globe. Oh yeah, this building is absolutely terrible. So the color of the color and texture of the Tudor framing is completely different from the rest of the area. So it's got a more yellow color to it, and the beams are thinner, and then it's like covered in Union Jacks. It's just like it's got a flag on this side of it, a flag on the other side of it that's identical. They just use the same vinyl wall poster and put it on the other side. And then here across the banner top it says Union Snacks in the middle there, and it's got Union Jacks on either side of it. So there's, this one building there are at least four Union Jacks, and it's only got 4 walls. So I don't know what to. Oh my goodness. And I think this is all covered in like dining tables now, but we didn't have dining tables the last time I opened this park. And they have, so there's brackets here on the ledges of each of these windows. During Busch Gardens' Christmas time, Christmas town that they have, they have those there so that they can put candles in the windows, and so I went ahead and did that as well. So you'll see them there, and there's some there. But I mean, they were in the pictures that I was using for reference, so they went in the park. And that's really it. There's not much going on here. You can see the size of the globe it just dwarfs everything else in this park. And on this side of all these buildings is a ravine. It's like this massive ravine that goes down to a river. So I don't know what the back of these look like or how big they are. I know that I can see that this one goes back quite a way. I'm not sure why. I don't know what's back there. But that's just from satellite imagery. And the other ones I have no idea. But I know they don't go back too far because there's a ravine there. So yeah, this stopped being interesting to me once the photo reference gets really spotty right in this area here. So there's a candy store or candy shop here called something confection, I forget. And you can see it in the street view, but it's not you can't get a good angle at it, so you can see, because it looks flat from the angle that you get, and I know it's not flat because I can see that from the satellite imagery. I would love to do a recreation of Dark Castle. Dark Castle was like one of my favorite rides. May it rest in peace. I thought these were videos. Yeah, I definitely think Dark Castle is what they had in mind when they made the Huntsman, because it looks more like the Huntsman than it does anything else, or than the Huntsman does anything else.
So yeah, so there's my recreation too. So everybody got to see the recreation. But yeah, with your original statement, it does look completely different from the other projects. I don't know, it looks more scientific. And maybe that's because I've spent so much time just measuring and multiplying and dividing and translating feet into meters, and a lot of research, tons of research, too much research. The inside of this building is just huge. You could put an entire park in here. I don't think there's anything else. Math and Planko should not cross streams. Yeah, and that's what was becoming increasingly difficult with this park, is that I was wanting a level of accuracy that was becoming really difficult to obtain. And I wasn't going to be satisfied with just bodging it here and there. Because, I mean, that works so long until you make it all the way around the park and the next two pieces don't line up. And that's not good. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I ever intended to do the entire park, because that park is massive. And I think, so I started this project the same time that Old Spice was working on his Busch Gardens Tampa recreation. And I asked him if I could poke around in his recreation a little bit. And he said, yeah, sure. So I went in there and I was like fiddling with things, and I started changing things, and I got way out of hand. I almost redesigned his entire entrance. And it was making me think, because I was looking at, pictures, and this was the first time I was using photo reference to build one for one. And that kind of got me thinking, well, I should totally do this for Busch Gardens Williamsburg, and then it'll be cool to see the two projects kind of go side by side or run side by side. But I don't know how far he's gotten with his anymore, and I kind of ran into a wall. But I was looking it up, and Busch Gardens Williamsburg is much larger than Busch Gardens Tampa, and Tampa has the advantage of also being very flat. So it was flat by comparison. I'm sure he would take issue with that because it's not flat, but it is flat by comparison.
I don't know if Lost Thought wants me, or if Old Spice wants me to show off his park, but I'm going to do it anyways. I'll just show what I built. What color is everybody else's GUI? I know Lone Wolf likes his green because apparently it's the green from the beta and they discontinued it or they removed it from the game. And he's afraid, well, he's probably correctly afraid that if he changes it. Yeah, so here's the entrance. I think most of this up here in the front he did. I went in and redid these this archwork here to kind of be what it is. And this tile work here. And then inside, because there used to be, so we've been talking about curtains today. There used to be a curtain here that went from this building to this building, and then they demolished it a couple of years ago, several years ago. I think back in like 2012 or so. But so the only remnant is there's a little structure right here left. And that's all I did. I just basically this orange section here and this little blue round seating area that they have. This is where I started doing most of my experimentation with art shapes. So I used some art shapes here to kind of do some filigree above the door, and here to kind of outline the shapes on the arches. I used it here to cover this. That looks terrible, but I used it here to cover this gap. And some devised awnings there. But yeah, he's done really good with this. I'm impressed. When I was living in Florida, one of my favorite places to go was Busch Gardens, Tampa, because Busch Gardens won me, really. Pretty sure he has a cheetah chase, cheetah hunt recreation over here that's pretty insane. Yeah. So many missed opportunities with this coaster. And Montu, which is my favorite inverted. Gorgeous ride. I'd probably completely rebuild this with all of the new stuff that we have. I see he's been trying to rebuild the Egyptian temple with all the adventure stuff that we got in the adventure pack. Oh wow, even over here. Looks like he's been getting ready for... So this building is what became, golly, what's the name of the snake themed ride? Cobra. Is it just Cobra? I think it's just Cobra. Or it's Cobra's Curse, that's what it is, yeah. And there's the Queen Colony restaurant. Used to be the hospitality house. And then there's used to be the hospitality house area over here too, but I don't think he's built. No, he's not built that. But he's got most things marked out. Planned out. Here's Shikra. This is such a good idea. God, he's so smart. Using the fences on their side. There's a gulpy. That's weird. What is this? I think this is Tusker House or something like that. They have like an oven roasted or smoked half chicken there, or half hen. That is amazing. I always eat there every time I go. And they've got like the fire pits there with a pirate and a bandit at the grills or at the smokers. That's hilarious. Yeah, this park is amazing. I don't blame you, Kimberly, wanting to go back. And this theater here that's built in the 70s. I think it's got like a Nickelodeon show in it right now, which seems super weird to me because of the licensing issues, but interesting little Stanley Riverfall buffering issues. Hopefully it passes. We've got the Timbuktu Theater here, which used to be a dolphin show. These were two pools here, and it had stadium seating around, and they built walls around it, put a roof on it, made it into a theater. One of the most interesting carousel covers I've ever seen, and that's what it really looks like. Falcon's Fury. Did really good with the colors there. I love that color combination. I have a video of me riding this. Everybody weep a tear for Rhino Rally. How much of the flume does he have built? A lot of it, wow. It's a bridge. Yeah. Why don't you put a car on there?
So he's using this for art shapes for terracotta pots too. One of my favorite places in the park is the nocturnal house that's sitting right back here. And the Moroccan Palace Theater. This could use a little work, but it looks good for what he had at the time. This is their breakfast place in the park. It's not a Monsieur Frites. I think it's crepes. I'm not sure, but I think it's crepes. There's a coffee place over here too somewhere. I think it might be this end one. So if we put Street Fox Coffee somewhere. There it is. I guess they share the same building. It's actually a huge structure here now where guest services is. So they boarded up this building. I'm going to try to start a call with Lone. Or I may wrap it up depending on what he says. I know this has all been boring, and I've not really known what to say most of the time. It's just showing stuff around. I'll do building sometime in the future. Go back to the main menu. Let's see if I can get. Let's see if I can get Lone Wolf on here. 1 second. Is there a Studios hat? I'll have to look. Good question. Thanks for reminding me. Apparently I have to update Discord. What's going on? Riveting content, I know.
Hello?
Hey, can you hear me?
Just okay, I can't hear you.
Uh-oh. What do I do now?
Oh, I don't know. Okay, now it's working fine.
Okay.
It just seemed like it like I shut up. Maybe my phone locked, and then it's like no.
I don't know.
All right.
Okay. Do you know if your voice is coming through the stream?
The entrance pod.
That you probably can barely see anyways. Okay, so I guess they can hear you because Kinderly is saying that the party started.
Okay, so like I'm getting like every other word
From me or from the stream?
from you. I have
Oh.
nothing on the stream.
I don't know. Let's see. I don't know if it's the mic setup or what.
I don't know.
Okay, so I guess we can hear you. That's Kinderly. Okay, well I heard myself over the stream, but you can't hear me.
No, I shut off the if I shut off the stream, if I mute the stream, I can't hear you over the over the Discord.
Oh, fun.
Well, now I can, but it seems like it's like it dies out every so often.
Well, I can hear you just fine, so I don't know what your problem is. I'm just kidding.
Oh yeah, that's how it works here.
Okay. Well, I'm getting indicator light whenever I speak, so I don't.
Do I have an indicator light?
You should.
Or do I just continuously?
Well, I don't know. Are you on your? You said you were on your phone, so I don't know.
I am on my phone, so like on like the call, I can see your avatar light up. Okay. I don't know if my avatar lights up.
You're lighting up for me, so I can hear you. Like, but and we knew that.
Maybe it's just like the internet just kills it every so often. I don't know. I don't know.
Oh well, enough about us. I assume they can hear us, even if we can't hear each other. So we'll just ad lib. It probably also doesn't help if I talk in a different direction from the mic. Do you see the stream, or is it like choppy? It's probably choppy. I think it's been choppy for everybody all day.
What's going on? Okay, I didn't hear any of that.
If I tab out of Discord, does that cut me off?
It might. I don't see how that would do that though.
Okay, well, I'm talking to you now, and I'm going to keep talking while I tab out. Can you hear me now?
I can hear you.
Okay. You can still hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, well, I am
Can you hear me
tabbed
now?
out.
Good.
Yeah, great. That's a throwback.
I'm with Sprint now.
Yeah, he traded sides. Which, I mean, hey, fair for him. It is interesting that he got his second job by being known for his first job. But
wish I could make millions of dollars that way.
Yeah, true. Okay, so I don't know what to do now, because I didn't know what to do before, so I just kind of basically toured the couple of projects that I have, including Zoo. We went through Zoo.
I missed Zoo. That's cool.
I'm sorry. I can pull it back up if you want.
No.
Okay, and
I've seen so much of Zoo.
My keyboard's been doing this thing where it locks and then just keeps scrolling without stopping.
Well, the audio has been okay for the past little bit. The video is still hit or miss. All I see right now is the celebrity logo.
Okay, well, I wasn't moving much, but I am kind of moving now.
Like I have to keep pressing live.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like it works for like a second, then I'll press live, then I'll catch back up. And I just turned off your audio on the thing because it's just a disaster.
Yeah, I can imagine. Basically, the only thing that I was saying about... Is that you getting Discord messages or me? I'm just
That's
hearing
me.
that.
That's me.
Okay, I was just making sure I'm not missing something. I'm like, great. Now everything's falling apart.
No, I'm gonna mute. I muted my computer entirely.
Okay.
So it shouldn't make any sounds.
Well, anyway, so what projects are you working on right now? Because I know you've got.
I'm just doing Adventure
Northern. Tell me about that. Because that sounds like something that we kind of like briefly talked about for Zoo.
I felt like for Zoo we threw a lot of
we threw everything at Zoo.
We did just everything. I think it's just the best ideas that we had. We just tossed it into one part.
Yeah.
And things didn't work out because I think because of the terrain tools not giving us enough terrain textures to really make it good enough.
Yeah, and well, the terrain tools came out through the middle of.
Yeah, it came out like halfway through it, so we were able to adapt it, but I don't think we were able to implement anything in the full.
Yeah.
Something that we would be satisfied with.
Yeah, and we also argued a bit about what the scope of terrain tools would be in a park of that size.
Yeah, we did. Didn't always agree.
But I mean, what team would?
No.
I mean, I was satisfied with with where we ended up. You got me outside of my comfort zone, and I think I got you way outside of yours. So
I think I learned a lot about scale from you. I really toned down a lot of my buildings. I don't know if that's just like, you know, working through the game a little bit, but I definitely like after I finished Zoo, I went back and looked at my original Adventureland and Park, and I just said, this is totally out of whack now. I just scrapped it and started over. I think sort of condensed it so that it's easier on me. I don't have to build so much. And I think the scale is a bit more proper now.
Yeah, well, like,
which is good.
And I mean, I've been watching other creators on YouTube. I'm not going to say any names, but like sometimes they build outside the scale, and like I feel for them there because it's not their fault. The scale in the game is just a little absurd. But it's also like I kind of want to just yell at the screen, but why would you spend that many pieces on this when you could if you build smaller, you use less pieces just by virtue.
It's true, but I don't know. I've learned that, you know, everyone thinks a little differently, so what looks great to me may not look great to somebody else, so I take it with a grain of salt.
That's fair too.
But I'm looking at what I see currently is I see down the street of Celebrity, and it looks pretty amazing. I'm seeing a Soundstage 14.
Yeah.
Currently, I'm gonna rush live and see where I end up now.
You're fine. I just moved as soon as you started talking about the park. I kind of went through all the like different parts of the park and things that, you know, I was thinking when I was building them. But I mean, you're welcome to point out things that you see. I know that this is probably your first time seeing it live. I know this is your first time seeing it live. But
what I really like is it looks like you made a painted mural. Blah, 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 blah. However you say that word on the side there of that soundstage, and that just looks cool. Like what really sells it is that pipe.
Yeah. I knew that the pipe had to be in the middle of it. I was like, this is going to drive people up the wall, but it doesn't work if the pipe's not in the middle.
It looks totally realistic. And the fact of the matter is that no legit park would actually plan to have a pipe there.
Yeah, no, but I had to.
But we had to.
Yeah, I'm
really digging that shell sign from Zoo.
Oh yeah, the shell signs from Zoo. I went through my folder. It was the only thing that I had. But yeah, that's your image there that you would
which I just pulled off of Google, I think. Yeah.
I did a quick Google search for like 1940s billboards and got nothing.
There isn't a whole lot. I think I looked a little bit for Zoo when we first started trying to do that, and I was just like, wow, I'm coming up completely empty.
It's like, why do people not take pictures of billboards? What's going on?
Well, there's so many graphical artists out there. People would recreate a lot of stuff, which was I was kind of hoping for.
Yeah. Well, even what was the South American image that I found? That I think it was actually Mexican. It was like a banana farm or something. It was like a promotional image. I
had to like go back and find a better version of it.
Yeah, we like did a Google image search to find better versions of the same image,
which is kind of funny.
Yeah.
Hollywood and Fine. I really like that building. I think I read that you angled just the corners so that it looks like it gets that upward.
Oh yeah.
Appearance.
Yeah, so it's narrower at the top, which you can't really do in the game. So the way that I accomplished it was these vines actually are not on the wall. They kind of, well, there's one that is on the wall and then one that sets out from the wall. And
so it gets that.
Yeah. It works great, but it gives it the tapering appearance. And I also did the same thing with the coining. You can see that it's absolutely flush at the top and then like just goes further and further out as you go down.
Oh, hold up, I have hit live.
Oh, yeah. You'll see.
Let me hit live. Yep. I think what I'm most impressed with though is the path. I think you said that each level works, and they're two different levels actually.
Yeah.
Which I think is just insane of you.
Yeah, I'll delete this and show you what this looks like underneath. So this is the 2 meter wide path hack that I managed to do.
I don't have the patience for it. I tried it and I was like,
oh my goodness. And well, not only doing a 2 meter wide path hack, but doing one that's going like uphill, up a slope. And thank God that I could cover it with. Gosh, this thing's still building. Okay, thank goodness I could cover it with pieces, because I did. That's the only way I could get that ramp in there.
When in doubt, you cover it with rocks.
Yeah,
that's how I do it.
Cover everything. What do I typically cover things with? Art shapes, I think.
Concrete. Yeah, yes. Art shapes.
Me and art shapes.
I never use art shapes. It's something I just hate using. And then I think I looked at Zoo and I'm just like, wow, he's just exclusively using art shapes. I'm like, I have no chance.
Yes, like every building I have is like 2 in-game walls, and then the rest is art shapes.
That's it. I'm still stuck using a little bit of in-game walls when I can.
I think Silent Member's leaving. Bye.
Adios.
We have five people watching now, but I don't know if that's just because you've joined.
You have 4. You have 4 others. I don't know if they're even. I gotta hit live. Again. Where are we now? All right. Soundstage on the right looks pretty cool. What's in there? You have anything in there?
Nothing. And right now, because I haven't unpaused it, the door is open. Because I don't know why, but whenever you load in the game, the animatronics start from a different position than their stopping position. So if when I unpause it, the door will shut. But right now it's open. You can see there's nothing inside.
Well, hold up. I can't see anything inside yet. Hold up.
Okay. Well,
I hit live. I don't know where.
We'll send this corner in.
Okay, I see candy. I see the shell. I see another shell sign.
There's 3 of them.
I hope you keep them all. They're always going to keep shell.
Just does all shell. Celebrity presented by Shell.
We don't care about greenhouse gases.
Okay, so you should be inside now. I've not moved since the
stream's
caught up.
Stay there. I'm gonna hit live again.
Okay.
Boom. There's nothing in here.
Yeah.
That was worth my time.
There you go. And you can kind of see the prop shop clipping through.
Yeah, I can. Yeah.
But and then the blue wall because you know LODs. So at a certain distance, you no longer see the billboard. You see the wall behind it.
Ooh. Dookie. So, ever since we got the adventure update, my cat's gonna try to attack me. The palm trees drive me up a wall. I don't like the old ones. However, I know why you're using them.
Yeah.
They're the only ones with the single
stalk,
palm.
yeah. And they're the only ones that like are upright and are as tall as they are.
Yeah. I just like the other ones so much better now.
I know, I do too, but there is one palm tree that is solo, but it's just too short to be viable.
Yeah. What I really wanted to do when that came out, I actually had half to go into Zoom and just rip out all the landscape, but then I thought you might get mad.
I did a lot of that myself. The entry area, I replaced some of the trees with the new palm trees, and I was so excited to get the bamboo.
Oh, bamboo! No one knows how excited I was for that.
Oh my goodness! Yeah,
except Kinderly. I think Kinderly knows how excited I was for bamboo.
Because I'd been using the poles to fake bamboo.
The upside down the upside down torches.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and upside down torches. I did that too. Yeah.
Which was actually bamboo, which I use, but bamboo's been fantastic for my part. It's just immediate filler.
Oh yeah, filler. It's like you have a wall, place some bamboo in front.
Bamboo, and that's realistic. That's what they use.
That's what they used to hide walls with, bamboo.
Here I used some cypresses because I thought it gave that northern California look. So I've got some in a very narrow wedged area. I wish these buildings would have came together differently.
See, Ken really did comment that I was excited for bamboo. He knows.
Yes,
All
I
about
see.
my bamboo.
He vouched.
Oh my god. Okay, my cat is just off the wall.
Okay, so since we're speaking additions, what do you think is the next DLC? And
I
when?
really don't know. I really don't know. I honestly thought the last one was going to be a floral spring garden kind of update.
Yeah, that would have been on the nose.
But I was completely wrong.
Well, yeah, and I'm with you. I expected the adventure update to be a spring update because that was like, when was that? That was like February, right, or something like that.
This studio update dropped. The adventure dropped in end of December.
Oh, okay. Well,
so which was completely opposite of the mood. I'm not complaining. Love the bamboo. Gotta have bamboo.
Love the bamboo. Bamboo's good.
So worth it.
Worth it. It doesn't matter what else was in the update or the DLC. Well, okay, so studios happened. Studios for me came out of left field, but since it's occurred, it seems right now. Like it makes sense looking back.
Oh, it does. And studios actually, I thought was a good cleanup pack because you could really make a case for all the things that you forgot that you left out of each of the little scenery packs, and you could just throw it all in the studios and call it a day.
I think
you could have.
Go ahead. Sorry.
You could have like aliens. You could have dinosaurs. You could have a whole shebang, and just under one umbrella, call it a studio pack, and you could ship it off, which was genius. I think for that regard. So they used it, I think, to fill in a lot of the animatronics, which I think is kind of how it started. If I had to throw out a theory.
Yeah, I think they were trying to fix some of the most commonly asked issues that they had, like the animatronics being too big and not having. Well, I think across the board there was a push to make smaller pieces.
There was,
which I think is good because that shows me. In one DLC that showed me more interest than Atari has shown me in how many years?
since RCT,
yeah.
RCT3,
ever
since that was released.
But yeah, so I that's why I was kind of like, okay, this is maybe not something that I would have asked for, but it's definitely something that is it means something. It's not just. It doesn't look like a money grab. That studios did not look like a money grab to me. No.
I believe I read a comment that they actually included far too much. They actually got carried away, I think, with a lot of the animatronics. So they just instead of increasing the price point, they just kept it the same now.
Yeah.
But there was something about there's a lot more content in for the value.
I believe it. I mean, even if it was the same part count, like doing an animated piece, it's got to be way more intensive than just a static item.
Yeah. As for the next DLC, that's a really toughie. I can't think of maybe fantasy.
That's funny because I was talking about fantasy when we were in Zoo earlier.
So fantasy maybe.
Yeah,
I know they have a partnership with Universal, and honestly, I have no. And if I was a company and I was Frontier, I would try to get Harry Potter, and just make that I know that wouldn't excite us, but come on, we all know how crazy Harry Potter people get.
Yeah,
I think that would be a home run for sales for them.
And
honestly, there's a lot of useful. I think they could do a lot of useful pieces.
Yeah.
Regardless, with that, at least in the whole fantasy realm.
I've got two thoughts about that. I think one, if they were going to lean into that partnership, we probably would have seen way more licensing in the studios pack.
Oh, I totally agree. I don't think it'll happen. I think that's something I would have.
But I will tell you what I do think is going to happen.
I think there's going to be a Jurassic World Evolution DLC released in conjunction with Evolution.
I don't think so because they've. I think Bo has stated many times on Reddit that won't happen.
Really?
Yeah, she's every time someone says that.
How are you going to do the Monsters pack? How are you going to do those small licensed packs and not?
I don't know. I think the reason was they currently didn't have a plan for it. But I mean,
that's such a smart tie-in, though.
It would be. It really would be. And I'm not gonna complain about it. I would love it.
They could literally call it the Jurassic World Evolution DLC, like because they.
And to be honest, they could literally just pull assets. They could literally just pull the 3D model they got from that.
Rip models.
Throw it in there.
I mean, they'll have to blow them up.
Stop the metal pole on the bottom for
Oh yeah, for grounding. And, I don't know why they all have poles running up the middle of them.
I think they backed themselves into a corner with that one. Yeah. They started with it and they're like, I gotta finish.
Well, now we gotta keep going. I think it's because their animatronics look identical to people.
Yeah. So they didn't want to rework them to make them look a little bit more faker. And
so they just put a
pole on it. We're good to go here.
And put a pole in the butt.
Yeah. But for the next big content pack, for a generic content pack.
Oh, I would love to have a contemporary content pack. I think contemporary's on the horizon.
I think Studios is as close as you're gonna get.
Really?
I think the big in-your-face themes sell from a company standpoint sell better.
Oh yeah, but I think you could do contemporary in that way. But I mean, I don't think you would call it contemporary. I think you'd call it something else like high lux or like. I get where you're heading. Yeah, something that's got steel and wood and like I don't know, modern design instead of because you do kind of get the like city vibe from the Studios pack, but it's more of a classic city kind of concept. Like to me, it comes off that way rather than like high couture.
It feels gritty to me.
Yeah,
and I think it's meant to. To be honest, I think a lot of the designers probably went over to Universal to talk about the Jurassic World thing, and they just probably got a free day at Universal, and they just went, "Wow,
probably
look at this!"
Just
said, "Damn, let's make it."
They probably just got inspired by that. Which I mean, that's fine. I mean, if you're gonna pull from the real world, that's the place to do it, or this is the medium. It is. And I'd prefer them to do that than, well, to that I say, somebody send them tickets to Busch Gardens.
Busch Gardens would be a lot of would be fun. I in my head, and my cat is stealing a pen currently. And she just fell. Okay. I think we Planet Safari. That was trademarked a while back ago.
Mm-hmm.
I think that was their backup plan for if Jurassic World didn't happen.
Mm-hmm.
I think they were just going to do a generic zoo game, maybe not as an expansion for Planet Coaster, but as a standalone game.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, they worked on Zoo Tycoon, didn't they, for the PlayStation, or was that a different?
They did, but after they built the groundwork for Planet Coaster, I think it would have been super easy just to reskin it to a zoo game.
Oh yeah,
and then resell it as a brand new game.
I think that they feel. I don't know how this became a discussion about what Frontier's intentions and motivations are, but I'm okay with it. I think that they feel like they now have a responsibility that they didn't go into the industry anticipating that would be like lobbed their way. But I mean, rebooting Roller Coaster Tycoon, done. Rebooting Operation Genesis, done. Obviously they have now niched themselves into this, everything that you loved, we're going to do it better.
Yeah.
And in that category, I would say falls Zoo Tycoon. Probably, like, I'm trying to think of some of the. There was some of the Sims games that were good, like
I had back in the day. What did I have? I had Zoo Tycoon, the original. I never played Zoo Tycoon 2. Just never did. I always loved the original, and I wish there was a digital download for it because I would buy it for memory's sake again. Cause I don't think I have the discs anymore. What else did I play? I had SeaWorld Tycoon too. That was interesting. That was a bad game.
Oh yeah, I had that one.
That entertained me for a few hours. Oh my gosh. Okay, we stop.
Well, I mean, yeah, so that's what you do. You do the Zoo Tycoon, and then you throw in a Marine Mania pack, right?
Yep. So, interesting to see what they do with Jurassic World. I'm excited for it. The movie's going to suck, but I think the game will be awesome.
Now,
especially since I think they're doing classic. They're going to surprise, I think, hopefully, with the classic assets in it, too.
And see, okay, I'm with you there. I think that now we were talking about the copywriting of Planet Safari. What do you think? Because just looking into their background, how they started in this industry was they made the first expansion for Roller Coaster Tycoon. Roller Coaster Tycoon 2, yeah. Wacky Worlds was it? That was their first project, right? Or something, or
possibly.
The first
I actually
project.
did not own all the expansion packs. I actually don't think I own the Frontier expansion. I think they. I don't know if they did all of them or not, but I owned a few.
Mm-hmm. See, now Wacky Worlds is where Roller Coaster Tycoon turned on me. Like that's where, that's where it all changed because I used to play Roller Coaster Tycoon 1 and 2 from the simulation side. And then when Wacky Worlds came out, the quality in the sprites were just so much, it just elevated the entire genre and gameplay that I started actually building with custom scenery and building full out concepts instead of just playing the simulation.
I never did that. I always wanted sandbox in those games, and I never had the patience to do the Salerno editor.
Mm-hmm.
I would do it, and usually I would just make cool terrains, and then I would stop and get bored and move on to something else because that was elementary school.
Yeah,
elementary school me. I didn't even discover custom scenery in Roller Coaster Tycoon 3 for many years after its release.
I've said this before too, because I don't know if it was elementary school me, it may have been middle school me during Roller Coaster Tycoon 2, but I was obsessed with the people who were making custom content, like Fisherman, who had made all of the lattice work custom scenery for Roller Coaster Tycoon 2, and I just looked up to him, and then later, after Roller Coaster Tycoon 3 and getting into custom scenery myself, I knew him, and that was mind-blowing to me.
I actually I never had good internet growing up, so everything I did was offline. So when I stumbled across a YouTube video of someone, it was a test track video, someone made a recreation of Test Track.
Mm-hmm.
And I watched it, and it was in the early ages of it, so there was only a few pieces of custom scenery, and most of it was in game stuff. So when I watched it, I went back in the game, I'm looking for all these pieces, I go, where are they?
Mm-hmm.
I've never seen this piece before, and that dragged me down the wormhole.
Yeah.
And I actually signed up, for Atari back then, but wow, we're off topic.
Well, I mean, what was the topic?
We're down to 2 viewers.
And one of them's you.
Thank you, that solo man out there.
Yes,
Hi.
Whoever you are.
You are listening into a vivid conversation.
Yeah, it was probably because the camera stopped moving.
Likely. I'm gonna hit live. I got three. So see, Mr. E and somebody else are watching currently.
Yay, Mr. E. Hello, Mr. E. We were just discussing in depth Frontier and their business model. So we've finished that. You can stay.
I did want to say, because I didn't get to say what I thought the next project was, or the next DLC was going to be, other than the Jurassic World tie-in. I think that the fantasy theme has so much room to be fledged out. I mean, just going back, because I have on my desktop every concept artwork that they have, that they've released, saved, and I was going back through it the other day, and there's so much of the fantasy concept artwork that they that never made it to the game.
It's been a while since I've walked through all that stuff again.
We're going to do like iridescent tiles on the roofs and stuff like that, and it's a lot of carved woodwork, pillars and columns and stuff like that, and fences and none of it ever got made.
You know what I would like to see?
What's that?
The Lost Continent. I mean, maybe not like brand as Lost Continent, but like that kind of style.
But yeah, okay.
Like
I'm
the
with you
fantasy that Poseidon's Fury kind of fantasy.
Yeah.
And that's just me. I mean, I don't have much use for the medieval castle stuff. I've never been into European mythical European. Really, I used to be all about that.
Yeah.
But I think I wore myself out with like Age of Mythology.
Really? Is that
Yeah,
another
like-
game you played?
Yeah, I love that game too. Age of Empires 2, Age of Mythology, Age of Empires 3 for a while.
I never played any of those. I played a slightly different genre. I played Caesar, like crazy.
I never played that.
Which was like worker management.
What do I got in my Steam library here? Oblivion was a big one for me. I loved Oblivion. Park Studio on my Steam account. God, that was a wasted effort.
Yeah.
That was a free.
Oh my goodness.
And I feel like I got bamboozled.
Oh, I'm sorry about
I'd get a no. Fallout New Vegas was my jam. Skyrim is installed. I don't play it. I don't have it played very much, but it's there.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, the Red Alert series.
I don't even know what that is.
What?
Red Alert?
Who are you?
I don't know. I've been asking myself this for 30 years.
Red Alert 2 was one of my all-time favorite games growing up. I saw my cousin play it at her house, and I was just like, I gotta have that. I actually got like a bootleg copy of it from her. And it didn't have any of like the video cutscenes because that was all taken out for Space-Wise. So I rebought it years later. I learned a whole other side of this game that actually had like cutscenes.
Oh wow!
Gosh, that was the best.
Brace yourself.
That's
I'm
really
gonna
all I
open
got.
Sue. What were you saying?
I went to my Steam library and looking for like nuggets of good games that like I rebought because I like them so much. Which there really isn't that many. But yeah. I'm really liking this this studio park you got going here.
Yeah,
really
so I was talking
hope
about...
you get.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead. I was just rambling.
I was saying I was talking earlier about like the concept and why it's named Celebrity and not Something Studios. The idea is, or I guess the question, because all my parks start with a question, and the question is, what does a Hollywood
park look like without any IP. It was like an IP-less park themed around movies and you know, Hollywood and that look like, which kind of really narrows it. Or I mean, that's a big restriction.
That's got to be really difficult because I in fact, the studio parks are the only parks that I
accept licensing in.
Mind,
yes,
I don't mind seeing IPs in because it's just it's expected.
Yeah.
Like if Disney threw all their IPs, their weird ones, into studios, I wouldn't mind at all. I think that'd be a great park. I think there's a big debate about whether or not like Star Wars belongs at like the Magic Kingdom, or my bad, Disneyland.
Yeah. Well, it's in the Magic Kingdom too.
Where?
They put something in Tomorrowland, didn't they? They've got that. No, they do that Star Wars dance party, or they did when I was there. Or no, they didn't when I was there.
No,
that was before.
That's at Studios. That's at Studios.
Are you sure?
Is it, I think so. They marched up and down the California street, which looks ridiculous.
You may be right.
It is what it is.
I may be having flashbacks.
Maybe they do.
Well, I mean, Star Tours has always been in Tomorrowland at Disneyland, and I think that was a mistake. I think that's where it started, to be honest, when they put Star Tours in Disneyland.
The bad decisions begin there. You can trace it all back.
You can trace it all back to Star Tours, which I don't think was a bad ride, and I hold it in high esteem. I just think it's in the wrong place.
I
was saying I don't think it's a bad ride. I really do hold.
It's cheap.
Yeah. Which, I mean, and I was, this goes back to a Defunct Land conversation that, you know, like Universal's kind of leaning into the video screens, but Disney hasn't quite done that yet.
Well, that's actually interesting because I just saw a rumor, and it is just a rumor, but the new Harry Potter coaster will have 0 screens in it.
What Harry Potter coaster? I don't know about this.
Okay. So at Islands of Adventure, their Harry Potter section, they used to have Dueling Dragons.
Yes.
They closed Dueling Dragons, they removed it, and they're going to put in what is rumored to be a pretty strong rumor to be the Forbidden Forest. And it's going to have a inverted family coaster with like what's, I guess, again, all rumors, a backward section.
Oh.
And it's supposed to be like a really long attraction. And I think one of the rumors I just saw just yesterday, I believe, was that the ride will be centered around a story around Hagrid and the Forbidden Forest and whatnot, of course. But the big selling point is it will have 0 screens. It'll have several indoor, and it'll be all sets.
It's interesting that their selling point is now with less screens.
It's so bad. I think the screens are terrible. I mean, Fast and Furious is going through technical rehearsals right now. I haven't personally sent movie screens, and it's going to be a snooze. It's going to be a hard pass. Isn't
it the one? Isn't it just the lift from the Studios tour?
It is. It's in fact King Kong.
King Kong was a lift from the Studios tour.
It's literally a clone of King Kong reskinned to Fast and Furious. So,
well, see, I can knock that, but this is not. King Kong wasn't the first time they did that. Most everything in Orlando was lifted from the Studios tour. I mean, going back to the original King Kong was lifted from the Studios tour. The earthquake before it was earthquake.
But the attractions were different. So while
fair.
Actually, they really not really. I'm thinking about King Kong Confrontation. It wasn't.
Well, Confrontation at Orlando used an over-the-head track system instead of
the tram. Yeah.
And then
the Mummy wasn't worthy replacement though. Mummy's hands down one of my favorites.
I do like Mummy, but that's where the screen started.
That's the first
It
ride
started-
they used with screens, right?
It started, but they
I think they
did
used
it
it to
clever.
better effect there. Yeah, they were more clever with it. You're right. They didn't rely on
It's
it.
not just here's a screen and here's some 3D glasses.
Yeah.
Hooray!
Hooray.
Hooray for that. What
I'll
else-
tell you
what else-
though, like Universal's traditional rides have a much higher charm level than Disney's traditional rides. Like you go and you ride ET, you don't even have to get on ET. The queue line for ET is the most atmospheric place I've ever been in my life.
It's really funny because that ride never has a queue. Whenever I go, it's like walk on,
Mm-hmm.
and it's the most amazing queue in the world that never gets seen.
Never gets
because
used.
that never gets used. And honestly, I'm secretly hoping is that they bring a lot of that queue design into the Forbidden Forest
Yeah,
of
that'd be nice.
of Harry Potter. That would be amazing. I'm not holding my breath, but if I was Universal.
Now I say that, and I think the Mummy has probably the longest queue that I've ever been in.
No, it never does though.
But not like
I've never had a
people wise. I
problem.
mean like space wise.
Oh yeah. Actually,
and
Dueling
it's-
Dragon had the longest one.
Well,
of its
yeah.
time. It had a
It
massive.
did. It had a
overflow.
massive queue. Yeah. Which I mean, but it was also it was also over distance. Like you actually had to move to the back of the park from like. It was trying to it's trying to move you to where the station had been set.
Men in Black has a pretty small queue. What else do they have?
I can't remember any details about Men in Black, having ridden it maybe 4 or 5 times while I lived in Florida. Except
Actually,
for
one of my favorites.
the one
It's
section
Me-
where the 2 cars turn to each other. That's the only part that I remember.
I like Men in Black a lot. I think it's better than like the Buzz Lightyear one.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean,
Miles
that's
better.
easy. Gosh, hands down.
I really hope they keep.
What are
Men
some
in
other
Black for a
classics
while.
that I was
I'm
thinking
at a
of?
point though where I'm getting worried about attractions.
Me too. Like,
Universal.
yeah, like I mean, how long has ET got? And that's
I
like
heard
that's
Steven
upsetting to
Spielberg-
think about.
I heard it was already scheduled for demo. Like Universal wanted it gone, but Steven Spielberg said no.
If he can, as long as he can do that, I'm okay. But
So Steven Spielberg's personal pet projects
yeah,
are safe until Steven Spielberg cuts ties with Universal.
or passes away.
That's
forbid.
so morbid. That's so morbid. But and what I'm really concerned about, since I love the IP so much, is the Jurassic Park stuff at Islands Adventure. I do not want to see it transformed into Jurassic World. I hate Jurassic World with a complete passion.
It kind of has though, mostly not the attractions, but like the land theming has been changed from the red and black to the blue and black.
Not really. They made Raptor Encounter, but they made that after Jurassic World. And what surprised me is that they actually still branded Jurassic Park instead of Jurassic World.
Yeah,
It's not. It has all the employees still wear Jurassic Park logos. It's not Jurassic World. It's still red and black.
well, I know that most of the signage or some of the signage that I was looking
They
at
did,
was red
they
and
did,
blue,
but they took it
or
all
blue
down
and
after.
black.
They took it all down after the movie premiered, though.
Oh, so that was
But,
temporary. Okay, That's
It
good, then.
was. But again, I read the rumor sites, and rumor has it, they're gearing up for a super duper major refurbishment of River Adventure,
God.
and it's. I'm not holding.
Well,
I'm holding my breath.
Well, you say that, but I feel like a refurb of River Adventure would not be that terrible. There are worse things in the world. Like, because
Okay.
if you're going from
No,
Jurassic
no.
Park to Jurassic World, like,
It's not the end of the world, but I hold the.
because
the
at
Jurassic
least
Park.
at least
a little
Jurassic
bit.
World, Rexy is still the main protagonist. I mean, at least for Jurassic World, the first one.
Well, he's the hero.
The hero,
He's not the
yeah.
protagonist, though.
Well, okay, fair, but the hero.
God, it would really piss me off to see the IREX instead of Rexy at the end. What I do think is I think they need to definitely rip out all the animatronics and just start from the ground up with new ones. That would be, which is actually the rumor, which the company that made the Kong for the end of the Kong ride at Islands Venture, it was rehired, and they couldn't tell if it was for the Forbidden Journey stuff or for a refurb of Jurassic. Okay, it's not terrible. Like Disney did a good job. The theme. I just hate the placement.
It's when I say it's terrible, I don't mean the actual quality. I mean the concept, the point, the reason behind it is terrible. All of it's terrible.
Yeah.
There's something what was I looking at? Something that was needlessly made into an IP at Disney. Absolutely.
Jungle Cruise was being talked about being made into Jumanji. I think the movie flopped though. I think they come to their senses.
I don't think it was. It wasn't Jungle Cruise. It was something because I was looking at the parks or the Hollywood parks. So it was either at DCA or Hollywood Studios. Huh. I don't remember what it was. Anyway, it was so upsetting, and it made me like when I saw it, I thought, okay, there is no excuse now. I would not be surprised if they started branding the bathrooms. Because
they had branding the bathroom. It's funny because at the Magic Kingdom there are Rapunzel bathrooms.
Oh, you're right. They did brand the bathrooms. Oh, fuck. It has already happened.
It's funny. My girlfriend loves Rapunzel, and it's like her favorite. It's her favorite of the Disney characters.
She'll hold her bladder to get used to
No. She's not that insane, but like it's the saddest thing ever. It's like, oh, my favorite character is reduced to a little tower by a bathroom.
Okay, well, yeah, fair that. I forget what it was, but it was so silly. It was like it wasn't even an attraction. It was like it was a seating area or something that had been branded.
This seems like a really Disney thing to do.
Mm-hmm. I just feel like the IP creep, and it's you know what it is. It's the fact. So the reason not to do IP, start from there, is because you have longevity. If you have a unique story behind an attraction or a store or a restaurant, then you have longevity because it stands on its own. When you tie it in with and this is what Disney, I remember my first day of traditions, the synergy conversation that we have. When you tie it in, when you try to synergize it with a movie, a TV show, an IP, now you have limited its longevity to the longevity of that IP in the public discourse. Plus or minus maybe 10 years. So what Disney has accepted is that either A, they think that the longevity of any one of these licenses is as long or if not longer than the refurbish periods for these attractions, or B,
you could make an argument though that some IPs are classics now. Star Wars, for example, that's not going away anytime.
Okay, but a Star Wars land would be different than a Kylo Ren ride.
True, absolutely true.
And I think that with the direction that the Star Wars land that I've seen is heading, and the remake for Star Tours and this and that, it's not generic Star Wars universe, it's Kylo Ren land.
I haven't got that feel, okay. but we'll see. It's funny. I'm trying to compare it to like Harry Potter or something like that. Harry Potter's got that insane fan base. I think Harry Potter will become a classic. That's going to be. There's so much lore that people write into Harry Potter.
I think that's a possibility, but I think they made a mistake when they cast Daniel Radcliffe and Emma Watson and Rupert Grint.
That's super hard to make when they were kids.
I know.
Like, I can't blame them for. I think that is fine. I mean, I guess you had, at least they stuck it out.
No, I mean cast for the attractions. I mean,
by putting them in there.
By putting them in the attractions, yeah.
Yeah. Well, one of the things was I think J.K. Rowling said that they cannot do actors portraying Harry Potter walking around at Universal.
Well, I mean that's
just
sense.
One.
I'd be surprised if I'd be surprised if that's something Universal wanted to do.
I think Universal would have done it.
Really?
They would have. Yeah. Meet and greets at Harry Potter Hall. Yeah. If you can do meet and greets with Mary Poppins at Disney, I think it would have been a good one for Universal to do. I'm glad that J.K. Rowling at least shut that down though.
Okay, that's fair. I hadn't considered Mary Poppins and how she fits into all this.
That's true. I mean, it's not like you can cover their faces with a mask like Kylo Ren or Darth Vader.
So question: do the Mary Poppins face characters get recast after the new movie?
I don't honestly. I don't pay attention to it much. I watched a guy who went to Disney and he just pointed it out, and I didn't even know Mary Poppins was a walk around character.
She was only ever at Hollywood Studios. Even though she probably would have fit in well in Epcot.
Yeah, that would actually make a lot of sense.
I hate how Epcot has been completely raped for
I didn't like Epcot from day one.
A lot of nostalgia related there because it was when my first trip to Disney, which was also my only trip to Disney before I worked there. My brother chose to go to the Magic Kingdom and I chose to go to Epcot, and those were the two parks that we went to. And even as an adult, as an intellectual, I enjoy the mission that Epcot had when it opened, and to see that it's not even like they decided not to do that anymore. It's like they completely forgot what they were doing. It's like I feel like Epcot walked into a room and forgot why it was there. It's like, yeah, Frozen, right?
Absolutely.
That's the sense though.
It got trapped between, I think, the IPs are going to invade it, and actually it's interesting because Universal again, it's going to be another mash of IPs, which I'm okay. Because if you go into a park and that's your groundwork, fine. At least you didn't renovate an existing park into that.
That's what I'm saying. Is like that's the crux of it for me. Is that
but
if Disney had built a Star Wars park, it'd be completely okay with me, and I would visit that park. I'd visit the pants off of that park, but because they're smacking it into Disneyland or smacking it onto Hollywood Studios, it's like, what? To me, I'm not buying it.
So Universal announced like some land ideas were actually leaked, possible ones, and one of them I heard was Lord of the Rings.
That's interesting. I'm down with that.
I am too. And so the other ones was, of course, more Harry Potter.
They're gonna put a third Harry Potter. At this point, they should have just built a park.
That's the ATM that never stops feeding cash.
I bet they're wishing they had just built a park.
Oh God, yeah, probably. Well, actually, I think they're now selling it as a way to get people to buy multiple tickets. You want to go to all Harry Potter? You can buy all 3 parks.
That's fair. That is the most EA business move I've ever seen a theme park company take.
Jurassic World was actually rumored to be a considered land, which I think was kind of weird since they already had Jurassic Park.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't complain. Um,
How would you make
There was-
Jurassic World different than Jurassic Park? Right?
ugh, beats
Because
me.
Harry Potter
Different-
makes sense
different-
because they did London Harry Potter and then they did like Hogwarts Harry Potter.
Well, okay. Well, in the Jurassic World movie, they made a main street for the park.
Yeah, but I mean it was still
If you
supposed
wanted to
be
rip that and make that your main street for your new park,
also fair. But
you could also label that. All right. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but I have to get going.
that's okay, I've got to too. I've been streaming
Alright.
for like 4 hours, so I'm good.
Yeah. All right then.
Well, thanks for hopping on with me, even though we didn't talk much about Zoo.
Oh, I know. Thanks for the one person who watched, Mr. E. You're amazing.
He's
Thank
the
you.
best. And see you, man.
If you
Bye.
still, if you
He's
still even
probably
watched
still
it,
with
bye.
us. Okay, bye.